So, in this video, I want to discuss your personal profile when traveling overseas. And by personal profile, I essentially mean the way you are perceived towards people. So, I remember making a video somewhere on one of my other channels of the importance of looking dangerous because you do not want to look like a victim. You don't want to appear as if you can easily be taken advantage of. And this is obviously in physical and obviously when you communicate with people, if you come across as naive, they can try and take advantage of you. So you need to ask yourself, this is what I've written, what do I look like and how am I perceived towards other people? As a solo traveler, if you're a woman especially, you're more at risk of people trying to take advantage of you. Of course, because we live in a lust driven world, typically when women are going to have an easier time making friends. I'm going to have a video on making friends. Not necessarily making friends, just attracting people toward them. Because the people you attract to you truly your friends. You can hang out for a year straight, doesn't mean that you're friends. I'm not so sure. So yeah, you're at risk of people trying to take advantage of you more so if you're a woman. It all depends on the type of image you portray, the clothes you wear, the energy you give off. So I remember when I was in Jamaica, and obviously in Jamaica, the people look like me. And Jamaica is one of the few places where I kind of blended in at the time. My dreadlocks were attached as well. So I kind of blended in. People wouldn't look at me and be like, oh, this person is not from here, especially because I would dress like them as well. But I remember my Airbnb host was telling me like the person that was there before me, and I connected with her as well. She was just a European or American traveler. She was of European descent, and she was just going about and confident. She didn't dress. She would dress like she was, what's her name, Lara Croft or something like that. And that's gonna influence how people perceive you and how they respond to you. Like even certain places in Africa, I've seen like European tourists walking around, and they're like, you see European tourists with a shirt off and then barefooted, and like when people don't walk around barefoot, you'd be like, probably don't want to mess with that guy, giving off some weird vibes. So obviously, I'm not saying you should do that, but just be mindful and aware of the image you portray, the clothes you wear, and the energy that you're giving off. I've written here, you also have to ask yourself if you stand out from the typical people in the country that you're in. If you stand out, you have to take extra caution. And here's an example. If you're of European descent, for example, traveling in an African country, I would recommend having someone to show you around who acts sort of as a security measure. Like it was just interesting. I remember I was in West Africa and I see some Chinese dudes. Chinese dudes are all over the globe, wherever you go. Chinese dudes, and depending on where you go, like people are making fun of them, like making sounds at them and stuff like that. And depending on where you go, like people might not be happy to see, like, this is all over the world. Like if you're of African descent and you're going to, let's say, an Arabian country or European country. I've experienced racism in Barcelona and places in Europe. It happens, so you just have to be careful. Like if you're gonna go, like, if you're of European descent and you're going to an African country, and you're just there by yourself, if you don't look a certain way, you kind of want to have a guide, someone like, yeah. And I've written here, for me, being 6 foot tall, dreadlocks that I wrote at the time, who's an athlete and a fighter, my experience would be different to say a Swedish woman who's 5 foot 4 and slim. Wherever we go, the experience are going to be different. There are benefits to being bigger or taller or just having a dangerous look about yourself as a traveler. However, I hardly ever have someone trying to take advantage of me physically because of how I look. Obviously, it makes sense. When If somebody perceives that this would take a lot of effort, and this is all combat, in all combat situations, if it's like, it might take a bit too much effort, he's 6 foot 4, it might just be effort. If it looks like it could be effortful, people people are typically going to stay away from you. Yeah. And I wrote, this might also sound like a no-brainer, but it's also not recommended to wear jewelry or extravagant clothing. Have a look at the people in your environment. Ask yourself, how do they dress accordingly. Like I said, you're still going to stand out. Like there's nothing you can do to, but you don't want to. That's the thing. You're already standing out because of your foreign energy and because of what I discussed in the awareness video. There's nothing you can do to hide the fact that you're from a different place. So why would you then put jewelry on and put, like, you don't need to do anything extra. You're already glowing. I had a lyric once. It was like, I'm there's no need to stand in center because you're shining from the corner. You don't have to do extra. So when you do extra, you're going to attract more negative. Like, this person's already like, yeah, you just have to be wise. So do people wear sunglasses? If most people don't, wearing sunglasses could draw more attention to you. This is just an example. Your walking style, of course, your walking style is going to be different. You can't feign it. You can't copy. Me, I'm on island timing for the most part when I'm walking, unless I'm on a mission, but that's a different story. Um, yeah, coming from a city environment where you're used to walking fast, that can make you stand out if you're on a coast or on an island where yeah, just try and fit in with the pace of wherever you are in terms of your walking pace. Um, yeah, it doesn't matter how wealthy you are or how much money you have, never showcase your wealth, look plain and be vigilant. That's the advice.